Welcome back, Brian Calfano, along with our Ozarks First contributors, Amy Blansit from the Drew Lewis Foundation. I always feel as though I'm not giving you full credit for everything you do, but whatever. And then Nick Reed, who is the morning show host.
She does a lot more than I do.
At KSGF 1041. And you two, I wanted to talk a little bit about our junior senator from the Show Me State, Republican Josh Hawley, because he's making a lot of headlines. There's actually a recent article from the Kansas City Star that says, well, you know, Josh Hawley could be a Republican contender for President of the United States in 2024.
Well, anyone can be, I guess.
Well, true, but he actually may have a shot. And the rationale was this guy could be Trump 2.0. And I was just wondering, since both of you, I think we've all met the guy.
Yes.
Personally. I've interviewed him.
I've been in the room with him. I would not say we've met.
He used to, when he was running, he would come on the show quite often.
Right. And he presents himself quite well. He's personable. He has aligned himself almost entirely with President Trump's views on just about everything. I actually can't think of an example where they're different. I may be missing something, but I can't think of one. But he gave a speech back in October, which I thought was quite interesting, where he's talking about the sort of crisis of despair that folks in the country are dealing with. And that got him this label of being sort of an intellectual version of the right wing, like the second coming of William F. Buckley, maybe.
Progressive was also used.
Yeah. Well, see, I would immediately, that screams opposite of Trump.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Because Trump is out there talking about the positives and telling, you know, people in private business that we can do this and that whole, you know, it's morning again in America sort of deal, as opposed to the doom and gloom and despair. And so I'd say that they're fundamentally opposed to one another in that presentation.
Well, so then what happens when Hawley adopts all of the president's policy views? Because I think that is something where, yes, he's different in terms of not talking up the positives as much and maybe going a little deep or deeper than people are used to from their politicians. But again, he's sort of a populist, even though I don't know that his policies match up with populism. Could be wrong, but Amy, what's your view?
So I've had this love-hate relationship with him. It's like this abusive thing of he woos me in. That what he said in October was, like I said, almost as if I had written the script to represent the families that we serve and what the nonprofit sector is constantly trying to say, hey, the government is okay for some, but for the majority, we're talking about it being doom and gloom. And he's finally a politician that kind of has an elite background, and he's speaking my language and the language of so many. And then, you know, the next week rolls around and he's an elitist saying something about another elitist and getting it all wrong. So it's promising to think that maybe that's in him. And if he would be a candidate, he's at least one of the politicians who is talking doom and gloom when no one else wants to. So it's really tough to be like, yes, and then, so I like raise the flag and then put it back down, and I raise the flag and I'm like, oh, let's just keep rerunning the speech that he did in October, because if that's a platform he'll run on, I'm interested, but.
The piece itself, I read through that. Was it who wrote it? Was it the editorial board or?
Right,
Brian
who
Lowry
wrote
and
it?
Jason
That's what I want to know. I could have written it, he didn't write it.
Honestly, I read, it seemed detached, or I'm in a different place than they are. I mean, the comparisons to Trump and all of this, I was like trying to almost convince myself so I could see what their point, where they were getting this. And they are just so opposite in a number of ways. Now, they may agree on, but I mean, the vast majority of elected Republicans are going to fall within the same area. Yeah, so it's just such a weird argument to make. Now, I'll tell you an area, and this to me, I'm not going to make a lot of friends here. He has this, I don't want to say it's an obsession, but he's proposed a number of things that are, in my opinion, in the Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders world.
Like the big tech stuff?
Yeah, the big tech stuff. And I'm not even talking about on a larger scale, but you know, pushing legislation that would ban YouTube from pre-rolling videos. That would be, you know, a lot of games that you play, they're free, but then you can purchase upgrades, making that illegal. All under the guise of protecting the children. I mean, when I hear some of these different plans that he's talking
the old
about,
Joe Lieberman track
and even
in the
making
US Senate or
like
something.
one of them was going to require social media or something to put a timer so you knew how. I mean, and it's all because these entities are bad, and I'm like, am I hearing Ocasio-Cortez talk about Amazon? I mean, it's just such a socialist thing to do, and he just keeps doing it. I don't get it. I absolutely
You have
don't.
no explanation for why he's doing that. Because
You know,
this
it's
really makes
confusing.
folks like Amy.
It is. It's
perplexed.
confusing to where it's like, wait, we keep saying we want someone who can bring parties together, and why are we so right and so left? And it's like he's playing it. Like, he's a politician. He's being often told a lot of ways to gain, the interest of voters. And so you play a little bit over here, but you bring it back to your side. You play a little over here, and you bring it back. So that's why I said some of the things that you just mentioned, I think, toned down makes sense. He's coming from a place of concern. We throw children into most of our areas of concern to get people to
Right,
jump
for
on.
the children, for the children, see all that.
Do
Right.
you, do you think, I don't want to be Machiavelli here, but do you think he's anticipating Trump losing this year? And he
No.
will resurrect himself as a branded Republican who wants to help solve the deep division in the
It's
country
a
and
good
protect the
conspiracy
children?
theory.
See, and by the way, this is also where I think the Kansas City Star really misses the mark. Republicans are going to have a very difficult time filling the vacuum that Trump leaves, because despite the conventional wisdom that Republicans are going to look for somebody to bring everyone together, that is no. Is it not clear yet that people want somebody like Trump? And that, I mean, I don't know how much more clear it can be. I guess, coming up November,
Well,
maybe it still won't be
The
clear.
Kansas City Star doesn't get it yet.
Well, no, they don't, and they demonstrate on a quite regular basis. They are in no way, shape, or form in tune with the average Missourian, and you see that in their editorials all the time. It's just they live in a very isolated bubble, and it's an echo chamber, and they come up with these sorts of theories. And I think because Josh Hawley he seems to come across as that swell, and no. That's not. Trump voters aren't going to be like, man, Trump is gone. What are we looking for now? Oh, that's what we're looking for. That's not realistic.
All right. Be interesting to see. Thanks to you both, Nick Reed and Amy Blansit. Folks, we'll be back after this.